Okay, audio is up.
All right, let's do it.
All right, brother. Okay, so our environment is a little bit different today. It's me and Rose decided to do in person. We want to get a few of these out before I end up moving in like 4 weeks. So
It's coming up, bro. That's crazy.
I know
Soon.
it's
How you feeling?
we're good. Obviously, we're gonna have to do kind of this, like the whole Travis Kelce brothers, for a little bit while
Yeah,
I'm
of
out
course.
there. Eventually, as we get a lot more loyal followers, we'll do a lot more in-person stuff like this. So just let us know what type of content you guys would prefer. And then if you guys like the in-person, that's too bad. That's gonna have to wait anyways. So
Hey, once you guys start giving us some money, then we'll make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it depends on you guys,
yes,
honestly.
sir.
But
Yes, sir. I feel we're giving out a lot of sauce. You guys are helping us. We're helping you. I feel like, and me and Rose want to keep doing this. So you guys have the choice to support us as well. So cool.
100%.
All right, brother. So today I want to talk a little bit more about why it's important to have people in your life when you're founding a company, whether that's a co-founder, your family, and like a friends and family seed funding to get you going, or just friends supporting you on the way. I feel like that's the whole meaning between entrepreneur versus entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is doing everything alone and doing everything internally on your own. But the idea of entrepreneur that everyone wants to be is being open and on the outside of things and wanting to do things collectively with other founders. Thus the word entre. So I wanted to go over, in today's podcast, over a little African proverb that has to do something with, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So I wanted to hear a little bit more about your thoughts about what you think about that.
It's fire. I mean, that's something I live by. I think it's pretty cool pretty interesting when you relate it to entrepreneurship, because entre, like you said, it is outward, it is social, but I think a lot of times people see entrepreneurs as these like solo creators, masterminds, whatever they are, founders, and they go forward and accomplish something amazing, right? Like you think of Elon Musk, or you think of Sam Altman, or you think of these very, very successful entrepreneurs. But I'd encourage people to, they are goats, yeah. Encourage people to look back at their life, their biographies, and see how many people along the way did they interact with, one, get help from, two, go to get help, and then just form relationships with, or maybe even had a part in building that product or service or company with them. So it's really interesting. I read a little bit of Walter Isaacson's biography on Elon Musk, and it's insane like how many people he had to bring along with him throughout the process. It talks about the impact his college roommates had on him. It talks about the impact that his previous wife had on him. It talks about the impact that the team he had to build together. So let's make it clear first and foremost that to be a successful entrepreneur, you're gonna have to interact and build upon other people and form those relationships, because if not, you're making this mistake, right? Going forward, trying to do everything by yourself, it's just a waste of time almost, right? To the point where if you're trying to do everything alone, you're just not going to get far. And so I like that proverb, because sure, you might go fast at first. I think when you're fully responsible for what's ahead of you, sure, you can accomplish a lot more, a lot faster. But if we're looking at the long-term vision of things, if you want to go far, you have to go together. And and so I think that's interesting. Have you seen that recently in your life? Just any examples you can think of how that's impacted you?
I just think networking in general. I feel like that's huge. Whether that it's whatever you're doing, even when, because I've seen a lot of these other entrepreneurs just like scaling their company and to get to that next step. A lot of these other angel investors will invest in them and help them gain to that next step. But that's part of being an entrepreneur, taking people in. I think that's what people kind of struggle with too, is separating themselves outside of their business. They like to treat it like their baby, at the end of the day, because it's like, oh, I built this, I got to protect it, But as you scale, and if you like really want to take your business to like that next step, you have to let people in and let them help you. Whether that's, again, like I said, an angel investor, family, friends and family, startups, or telling even like on Instagram. This is also one thing I don't understand. Is people are so afraid to document their journey.
Yeah.
And tell everyone like what's kind of going on their day by day, because they're like, oh, I don't want anyone to take this idea from me as they're starting up. So, in a way, I could kind of see why people kind of like to stay inside and not tell anyone about it, because they're also afraid, like, you know, if I tell my friends about this and it doesn't work out, I'm gonna look dumb.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And I think people are kind of afraid of how they'll be seen by others as well.
Totally.
And that I feel like that's a huge part of getting over that hump and taking your business to the next step. Because obviously, if you want your business to succeed, people are going to have to find out about it, you know? You can't stay in the shadows for a while and be like, oh, Rose owns that.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's pretty huge, and you just have to almost let that idealization like just lower it a little bit and just chill out.
Yeah,
Calm down.
It's interesting because I know Alex Hormozzi's talked a lot about this. It's like the season 1 entrepreneur versus like the season 5 entrepreneur, and he says it's very obvious, and you can tell when an entrepreneur, it's their first time starting something, or it's like third or fourth or fifth time starting something, because and like the key difference is how vocal they are about it, how they express it, right? Like the very like intro entrepreneurs, which honestly I would group myself into right now. Like I'm starting this journey, I'm pretty new, but like you see us, we're a lot like more quiet about the product we're building. We for whatever reason, right? It could be like fear of other people seeing it, or it's like you just don't think the product's that refined yet and you want it to be more refined, or whatever that reason is. But you can tell when someone's in the beginning, stage of entrepreneurship, because they are more quiet about their product or what they're working on. But those guys who have already done it for a few years, who have done it a couple times, they're just going around talking to everybody, trying to get their product out there, trying to get as much help as possible. They aren't afraid of getting funding from other people. They aren't afraid of getting advice. They go up to anybody and everybody and ask, how is my product? And we talked about this in our last podcast, but like the validation of your product as well. And so I think it's kind of a mix of things, but it's definitely true. Like you see those guys who, if you don't know where you're at in that, just ask yourself, like how expressive, how vocal am I about this, and who am I going to for this?
Dude, it's so weird to me though. Like when I look at it, I feel like those are definitely the kids like from preschool that would like take your stuff and like run away with it, bro. And like I don't know. I just feel like they're more of like the I don't know. They're kind of just on the weird side for that. It says more about you, I feel like.
I agree.
If you're not able to do that. Speaking on ego, why do you think people are so afraid to ask for it? Just especially as a student founder, where you have everyone around you, like your cohort, everyone watching you. Do you think it's coming from a place of having something to prove, or not wanting to ask for help and being like, oh, I did this all by myself? Why do you think people come from that? Because I feel like that costs you more long term.
It does cost you more long term. I think it's probably multiple like reasons why. If I had to guess, the primary reason, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of some of these other student founders and where they're at. I think one is definitely ego a little bit. Just thinking like, I don't need help. I can learn this on my own. I can do this on my own, right? Because they see other people, like they learn different skills as they go on. It's like, oh, well, I can just learn that or do that, right? But again, there's reasons why that's not the best case. But more than that too, I think, I don't know. I think if an entrepreneur isn't asking for help, they just don't see the value in it. I think they may not trust.
Or can I count that? Or is it because they pretend that they see too much value in it to where they can't share it with others?
And, like, what would be an example of that?
As in, like, you think you came across like a gold mine rush of an idea.
Oh,
so good to the point where it's like, it would be stupid for me to tell anyone else about this.
I see. Because if, like, for example, you're inviting somebody to be a part of your team or even just sharing the
Mm-hmm.
idea, they could either take it or, use it themselves. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point. I think, again, like, going back to, like, the point earlier, that's probably the case for some people. But I would just encourage others to realize, like, I think it's pretty rare that like, actually happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really seen like a personal story for somebody I know that's happened to. I know it has happened. Like, it's a real thing. But I don't know. Why do you think? That's interesting.
Well, I mean, obviously everyone knows like the whole McDonald's story.
Yeah.
And then Facebook, that happened with Facebook too, right?
May have.
I think it was. Don't correct me. All right, I don't want to see any comments about this. But I think it was two founders of Facebook. What's his name?
Zuckerberg?
Came in. Yeah, Zuckerberg. He came in, looked at the idea, took it over, and took credit for all of it.
Yeah, that's right.
I think people are referring to that.
Yeah.
But it's like, people act like they're like $1 million company
Yeah,
already.
exactly.
And I think it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, in a way, I could see it where it's like, oh, I put content out there. If someone else copies this content and scales faster than me, I don't want that to happen, you know? But I don't think, when people watch you, I don't think like that's the whole purpose of watching you. The whole purpose of watching you is to see like a founder struggling and go through like the raw, vulnerability and struggles of being an entrepreneur. And they want to be like the helping hand, like helping you get to the next point. So it's more so, I feel like if you get a follower base, it's a follower base for a reason. They're your fan. They're not saying, oh, this is the next guy I want to steal a product off of.
100%.
You know?
I've noticed that. I think people, they give this like false reputation for entrepreneurs that they like are ultra competitive and want to steal your idea. And I mean, at heart, every business owner is competitive in some sense. But from what I've noticed, we work with a lot of entrepreneurs. They're very supportive, like, of each other. Like, it's really cool to see how much they believe in us, or we believe in them, or they believe in other people around us, right? So I would say, and I'd argue that entrepreneurs are more of, like you said, like the supporting type than they are looking to take some idea, right? And then going along with that too, I wanted to mention, people think and are afraid that if they are too expressive their idea, then maybe not a fellow entrepreneur will steal the idea, but like a bigger company will try to take over that, like whatever product they're developing, right, and then just do it better. But one thing we've learned in entrepreneurship a lot is that the big companies, they're at a disadvantage because they can't move as fast as you can. And what that means is, because they're already having to focus on, all the sales they're already working on, their own products they already have, or the lawsuits they're involved in, or getting more capital, or like they have so much going on as a bigger company that it's almost like not a waste of time, but it's hard for them to put all their eggs in this basket of trying to take over like the product or service you're developing. I'm not saying it hasn't happened before. It probably it does, but that's your advantage as an entrepreneur. If you have some sort of unique product, service, idea, you can work at a much faster pace with the people around you than like some big company taking that from you.
Right. No, I agree. I'm going to piggyback off of that.
Yeah.
So you're familiar like with the company Bloom and like Greg,
of course.
Who's run it. So he started that back in 2017, I want to say, with his wife. His wife was already kind of an influencer who had like people following her.
Totally.
So this is about the time when greens powders were really popular, between that like 2017 and 2020 mark, where everyone was just getting greens and raving about it.
Yes, dude.
So this is around so Bloom made their greens powder in like 2018, 2019, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And everyone's loving it. They're eating it up. They have a large community of people following them. And then Amazon comes in and makes the same thing.
Oh.
And they saw that, and they're like, $1 billion corporation they're gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing we can do. Like, we're screwed. A year goes by. Bloom has, I think, 3 or 4 times the amount of sales in Amazon still, solely based on the community, because they saw that struggle and the influence Greg and his wife had. And eventually, I don't even think that product exists anymore on Amazon.
Really?
And then Amazon is like a huge advocate for Bloom now, because I think Amazon took down their listing, but that's what it is. It's like, even if Amazon's was better, it's about the community and like the
Mm-hmm.
marketing at the end of the day. Because it's like, obviously, you didn't see Amazon struggle to make that. You didn't see
Yeah.
the community. You don't know the person behind like running that. You saw Greg and his wife running this greens powder, and you saw the struggle with that. So it's like, which one are you going to be more prone to following and supporting in the end, you know?
100%. Yeah.
So I feel like
Yeah.
community is like such a huge part of it.
No,
Such a huge part of it.
That's huge. And that's like the principle that was like built on from first pitch was the idea of like believing in these underdog entrepreneurs, and that Brad and I, we have like the belief around first pitch, and what we're starting is we have this belief that more people want to see the underdog entrepreneurs succeed than you would otherwise think, right?
Yeah.
And social media may not portray that accurately at the moment. I think it's gotten better over time. Now you're seeing these small influencers, these small content creators really building a following pretty fast because of this belief that like people believe in you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like communities want to follow you all because they relate to you. They can't relate to the billionaire founder who is like has 5 mansions and has these 3 sports cars. Like they think it's cool and interesting. That's why like they get attention on social media. But it's not the people they necessarily believe in, right? The people they want to believe in and follow and support are you guys who are just starting out, who just released your first prototype, your first product. Like that's who the people want to believe in. And I noticed that myself on, like, I guess here's a practical way to look at it. Go on social media, go on your feed, and look at the people whose videos you enjoy most. I'll argue that more times than not, it's going to be some sort of small content creator than it is like the big, massive influencers, right? Like, I don't watch Mr. Beast personally. I mean, and I'm not saying he puts out bad content. I'm sure he still puts out amazing content. But, like, I'd rather watch Reels or Shorts or even YouTube videos from these kind of smaller content creators who I relate more to than, like, Mr. Beast's kind of performative videos. So that's just, like, I don't know. That's just kind of how I look at it. I think community, like you're saying, it's massive.
Yeah. Yeah. Like no one's relating to Mr. Beast's Squid Games at the end of the day, you know? So I feel like another huge thing about, you know, being a solopreneur, if you will, is burnout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Burnout is so easy. I've noticed that, you know, being a co-founder,
Yes.
the longevity of me working on this is much farther than the previous projects I've worked on in the past. And, you know, it's not just like the workload that like kills you in the end. I feel like it's just the mental weight of having to carry it. At the end of the day, you have to go to sleep and be like, man, I'm doing this by myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a lot easier where you have an accountability factor, you know. You keep me accountable. I feel like in a way I keep you accountable 100%. As well. I feel like in a way also isolation could be a killer.
Yeah.
Like keeping you stuck there all day. Your social skills are kind of cooked after being in the office for that long. And, you know, you ruin a lot of aspects of your body. Like I've done this in the past. Where I wouldn't even like eat, go to the gym because I was like so just like motivated to get this done. And I mean, that hunger's good, but if it's affecting your health, you should probably like take a step 100%. Back and be like, I'm a weirdo. Like let's calm down.
So can I say something about that point?
Yeah,
though?
Go for it.
I like that first point you were making. Brad and I relate a lot to that for sure. Like, I mean, this is like honestly the first big thing I actually started. And it would not be where it's at if it weren't for Brad or myself, right? Like, it's this partnership. Like, this is why having a co-founder gives you such an advantage. Again, I'm not saying you need one, but it can definitely benefit you from what like, we've experienced. You know, there's been days or weeks where I've just been, like, not motivated to work on it. And then Brad comes in and he's showing me things, these new things, and he's telling me stuff he's been learning, and he's showing me content he's been editing. I'm like, and it just gets that fire back up in me. And then I go, and it kind of like we bounce off each other like that way. It's like a workout partner, right? Or a running partner. Like if you go on a run with a friend, you're much likely to get further, like the proverb says, than if you're just going by yourself. Because the moment you start getting tired, you're burning out, you're like, you know what, that was probably a good enough run. I can just stop here.
Yeah.
But if you're with a friend, you guys are going to keep pushing each other to keep going. You're going to finish what you originally started. You know, that's the whole point of this, is that you need somebody by your side.
Yeah, I agree. It's going off of that. I forget who said this. It was on a podcast, but just as you were saying right now, it's like how you start a fire, and when you're out camping, and the fire's getting dim, and you add a log, right?
Yeah.
And then that log gets on fire, and then that log causes another log when you put that log in to catch on fire as well. And then that other one burns out, and then you put a new one in. So it's like, it really is that bounce off effect. So it's like when one guy's on fire, the other one kind of takes effect off of that. And it's like, that is one thing you really need to have when you're in that weird valley of despair. You just need to have like almost unrealistic optimism at the end of the day. Like, just be like, I don't care how down bad I am right now. I'm going to do whatever it takes for this to work out in the end, you know? And that's something I've been working on, like a ton. Just like having that crazy amount of optimism and be like, I'm gonna be a killer today. You know, I'm gonna go get it. So I kind of want to talk about a little bit of who you kind of need to have within. I mean, I guess being a founder and like starting up, because I feel like relationships and like the social aspect of being a founder in general is very important. So, I like the three people I'd say you would need is one, the co-founder. So obviously someone who like is in the trenches with you daily, going through that war with you. So it's more of like a mirror, but there's someone there with you. So you're making better decisions at the end of the day. You have a lot more input, a lot more output. So, you know, obviously that's me and that's Alex. And then you have your peer network, whether that's people in your entrepreneurship classes or business classes or in your clubs. Like we have Lassonde, that's how we get a lot of our businesses. And if anything, they could give you like that honesty on your product. And that's one thing you need to do too. I feel like when you go to a lot of these founders, don't take anything too personally, because I feel like obviously that's your baby at the end of the day, but it's like, don't be so connected to it where it's like you take offense. Take everything with a grain of salt and then input what you need to into your business for what you truly think would actually benefit it. And then I'm going to say family support as well. I feel like this is one of the most important ones. Just either emotionally, financially, or just the belief in you in general before there's actual fiscal evidence that this is going to work out. So I feel like when you're around constant love and support, that's huge, because not everyone has that. So if you do have a loving family with you, like don't overlook that. I would definitely utilize that as a factor for your business as you keep going. So like tell your family about it. You know, like it's exciting for me to tell my parents about it, because they get excited for me, because they could see that passion. I don't know if you've experienced that with your family.
Same thing. In fact, I love how you bring up your parents, because the best thing for me, and Brad lives by this, is I love to see his mom and his dad like our videos. So I know, like, let's be real, like they probably could care less. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they do love our videos. But either way, like just to see the constant support and belief in us, it's like all that we need right now. You know, it's like you said, you can't overlook that. Take advantage of the people in your circle, especially those that can offer, again, financial support, but like emotional support, this constant, consistent belief, because they know who you are deep down, right? Like, I think somebody, if I were to, like, even a friend, maybe I would tell this about, like, they'd be like, oh, yeah, like, they may not fully buy in to, like, first pitch, what we're working on, but I tell my family, and again, they may not buy into first pitch, but they buy in because they know who I am deep down, right? And they believe in me, and they see that, like, I know what you've accomplished before, like, this isn't anything different. I believe, and I know you're going to accomplish this. And so having that support, it's huge. It's massive.
Major.
What would you say, because you said, like, if you have that that privilege of having this loving family, take advantage of that. How do you think people who may not have the best relationships with family members, like who could they go to for like a similar thing, or how could they navigate that, do you think?
I feel like networking is, again, like the huge aspect of it. When you don't have like your physical family, you could start a new family, quote unquote, with people who think the same way as you. So it's like find other peers around you who would keep you accountable. Honestly, it's almost better for them not to be your friend, because there's not the like emotional aspect of it. But as you are scaling and are like pushing each other, a friendship blossoms out of that. So it's like in the beginning, you guys are so hyper focused on your company that you don't have time to be friends with them. So I feel like that's a huge part of them. Just having someone like that to motivate you at the end of the day. For those of you that don't have or aren't very close to your families, I would definitely utilize that. And for those of you who aren't in, I guess, college or school at the moment, I would definitely go on different Reddit forums or Instagram and look for these different groups, Discords, whatever. There's really no excuse to not find it because there's everything on the internet. And but if you do have a loving family and I would just take advantage of that. Because that's been huge for me. There's moments where I thought like they wouldn't believe in me, but just that support and that love at the end of the day, even if they don't know what I'm doing, is huge to me.
100%.
Like I don't think I told you this. This was yesterday. But my older brother was so inspired by some of the passion that I've had for this, because I tell him about my passion projects all the time, that he's like, dude, I want to start a podcast now.
No way.
Yeah, so he's starting like his own little thing for like mental health, stuff like that. So I just feel like I'm glad that my passion is like so invigorating that people like, I'm like a magnet for that in a way. And I love that. I just love helping people. I mean, that's the whole premise of First Pitch anyways, but just to see it in live action with your family as well, it's just a cool thing. Just to have a project and like, dude, that's sick. I want to do the same thing.
Well, that's why we're here, right? It's like we want this to feed off, not just onto the viewers, but like our family members, those who we care about, and inspire them to go out and do what they want. Like, again, one of the principles First Pitch is built on is we believe that people should chase their dreams. Like, that's why we started First Pitch, because we wanted to chase our dream. And all these founders who are going out and starting their businesses, they're chasing their dreams, And so, again, we wanted to go beyond just the viewership of the people around us and give back to them in that way. Right. I wanted to mention really quickly, too, about the idea of people in your life that kind of come out of nowhere and, like, how that has an impact on your trajectory. Again, if it's your business or whatever it is, and how you can take advantage of that. I think it's a really important topic that we don't talk about enough, is because everybody kind of thinks about, oh yeah, like who do I already know in my circle? Like, and that's obviously great, but sometimes, and I'm a firm believer in God, that God puts people in your path for a specific reason. But even if you don't believe in God, some universe or higher power, it puts you in the path of somebody else that you needed to meet at that time. And it's really cool. There's so many stories about this. I mean, movies are based off of this. Like, a guy goes to a bar and he's struggling with his business, but then he meets some, let's say, like, IT guy, engineer guy at the bar, and then all of a sudden, like, wait, like, and they work on this together, and they build that friendship, and they build it together because they have a vision for something, right? And so, like, Brad and I were kind of the same way. Like, we met each other for our fraternity, so it's a little different, but still, like, we've crossed paths, and we stayed close, and then a year or two later, we had this passion project and to start First Pitch together, right? And it's like, Brad was the perfect co-founder. I couldn't have done this with somebody different, And so it's stuff like that, taking advantage of the people that are put into your life at a specific moment.
Yeah. I feel like your network, it compounds like equity. I feel like your network is like an asset.
It is.
And the more you build the asset, the more it compounds at the end of the day. So I feel like the relationships you invest in, it's gonna pay dividends later.
Yeah.
And if you build a community now to build with as you go, you're just playing a different game. You're in a different ball game, and it's much better than grinding in isolation. I feel like anything's better than isolation. But obviously it doesn't have to be a co-founder at the end of the day. He could be a mentor that just checks in monthly with you, an accountability guy. Like me and Alex. I don't know if any of you guys use Notion or know what it is, but we use Notion to like date everything, and we put our names by the tasks we have to do, and then we have this little pledge right there where it's like after you put the date, you have a yes or no pledge, and then when you put yes, that's more of a contract where it's like, I know I could realistically do this, so my other co-founder is going to expect me to do it. But if you put no, the other guy's not going to expect you to do it because it might be like a much bigger task. But again, the accountability thing of a co-founder is just, it's couldn't get any better than this.
Yeah.
Or even having a family member, if you don't have a ton of friends or even a co-founder, just having them check in, together is great, but obviously at the end of the day, it's not entirely a requirement. So maybe let's talk about why, for this last segment, why not needing people, or why needing people is not a weakness. I feel like a lot of people think, again, it goes back to the whole ego thing. Maybe explain to everyone why a support system that they intentionally engineer is a lot more beneficial for them in the long term. Because I feel like people are kind of like your infrastructure. It's a part of your foundation.
Yeah.
Like you have the product, obviously yourself, the idea, but people are part of that foundation. And without that, I feel like that building's to crumble. So maybe talk a little bit more why people could be your system.
Yeah, no, 100%. I liked how you said that people who support you, the people as this like foundation to your system, as you're talking about, Brad. It's not a weakness. It's kind of sad. Like I feel like in society, we've really screwed up a lot of times with how we label what's a weakness and what's a strength.
Especially men, I feel
Dude,
like, too.
A lot with men. Vulnerability is a big thing. There's people close to me in my life who they see vulnerability as a weakness.
Yeah.
And so they aren't vulnerable, but then it makes them a worse human being, and it's just sad to see. And I could go off on a tangent about that side of things, but no, it's true. Like forgiveness is a great example of this. People think forgiving another person, being the bigger person, is like a sign of weakness. Like you're giving in, like you're the first person who's drawing, right? Like, I'm done. Like You're right, you win. But that's actually a strength. Like forgiving another person's a strength. Being the first person to like say, you know what, you're right, I'm wrong. Like that's a strong individual, and we've really screwed up with how we label this sometimes. So, again, it goes down to entrepreneurship as well. It's the same thing. If you guys feel like being vulnerable and like talking to other people and getting their advice and getting a mentor and even like paying for something, like some sort of like AI tool, or if you're paying for a new nicer, like people think having to spend money is also like a weakness that like, no, like you guys are making investments in yourself, right? And same thing with the social capital, I like to call it. Social capital is the idea of like your network. It's the people around you and how it builds you as a system. Like that's not a weakness, guys. Like that is a strength, and that's something you need because like we talked about multiple times in this podcast, if you fall short, you have something there to hold you back up. And so I think it's one of the greatest strengths somebody can have. It's something that I think people who do have it take advantage or take for granted. Like we're very privileged to have social capital, like to have these people in our corner cheering us on. And so, yeah, it's definitely a strength to go out and talk to people and build that system of people around you.
Cool. And with the close, I'm just going to ask you one more question, and feel free to ask me another question too. But how do you think that system kind of connects back to the African proverb with, when you're going fast, or what is it again? Hold on, let me read it.
Yeah, you're good.
It is, so if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So maybe just kind of...
Yeah. I think having a system of people who care about you, who believe in you, who you're accountable to, are some of the greatest strengths that allows you to achieve your ultimate dream in life, your ultimate vision. I mean, I could even argue, even besides that, like the whole purpose of this life is to grow relationships with other people, to like build with other people. I've been reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and a very big Stoic belief is that us as humans, we're here on this earth to cooperate with one another. Like we're here to build together. So this idea of like building alone is actually contrary to human nature. And so, again, you can go fast. You can try to speed through a couple of these things by yourself. But if you want to ultimately achieve your greatest vision in life, it's necessary that you have people by your side.
Yeah, that's fire.
I don't know, what are your thoughts on that, on how that connects back?
No, that's a good point. It's who was talking about this the other day? I feel like I just watched a podcast on it. It's
The
kind of,
the McConaughey one?
no,
No.
I don't
No,
know.
you're good.
There was something that had to do with, someone was talking about this proverb, but like it went back to the whole like fire thing, where it's like think of it as like a sparkler versus dynamite. Like that sparkler, it's like flashy, it's cool, it's whatever, you know, like, but it goes out quick, you know, it goes down fast, it burns out fast, but in the beginning, wow, it's like flashy, cool, whatever. That dynamite, it takes a minute to get back, go down, and you know, there's nothing flashy about it, nothing too scary, it's like whatever. But once it gets to that very end, boom,
Yeah.
it's a huge explosion.
Yeah.
Way bigger than obviously the sparkler. But that's another thing too, is the patience thing. Patience, you've made me way more patient too. Because without like someone to keep me in check, I'm so impatient. Like especially with like traffic.
I am too, bro.
Traffic gets me so bad. But I'm like a go. Like I just like to get things done. But you know, Rose keeps me level headed at the end of the day, and he kind of reminds you like, you know, like this is gonna take time. It's gonna take a little bit, but we're gonna do this. And I'm like, bang, bro, like that fired me up, and it calms me down a little bit.
I appreciate that.
And then, what would you say I do for you?
Do a lot, bro. You do a lot. I mean, it's the same thing we talked about today. I feel like you constantly teach me, one, and this is like one of the hugest things I think about a co-founder, especially Brad, because Brad's very knowledgeable on a lot of this, like podcasts and editing and personal brand. He knows a lot about this stuff. And so for me, sometimes when we hit these roadblocks or obstacles, I'm just like, I can't keep pushing through. You kind of inspire me with new ideas that I've like never even considered or thought about. And it's really cool. So that's one. But I'd also say just, yeah, dude, you keep me motivated. Just like just your happy, your optimism. You talked about it earlier today. Like you've been practicing to be more optimistic, and that's really, really helped me a ton. Because at times I think, like, how are we gonna like build off of this? Like, how can we improve? And I kind of get down on myself, but you're just like, no, bro, like we got this. We're still going. Like it's getting better, brother. So I do appreciate that a ton, bro. And
Yes,
you're a go for that, and that's why you need a co-founder. But I want to ask you one last question too before we head out.
Okay.
And this is like more personal, and I'd be happy to answer this too. But what's one thing you'd want to implement in your life now that relates to this principle of like moving together, of building a social capital, of accountability, belief, like whatever it is, but like based off this idea of like having people around you that you can use to your advantage? Like what would be one action point you'd want to like try to be better at or implement in your life?
To be better at.
And if you don't have it, I'll give you an example while you're thinking.
Okay.
But for me, I think one thing I want to improve on is talking more about this to just people around me in general. Just like living the First Pitch brand more. Because again, if people judge me, who cares? You just push them to the side. But even if I can just find one or two more believers in me, that's like, that'll pay off dividends for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So I think
I agree.
I want to be more open to those around me about what we're working on.
Yeah, I feel like, so that is one aspect I feel like I'm decent at, because I do love talking about it, but not you know, talking about it too much, even though I do talk about it well enough. I think it's more so because I'm going to start, I don't know, maybe I'll start posting by then, but the whole personal brand thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's kind of weird. It's like again, it goes back to the whole thing of like failing. I'm not afraid to put myself out there with my face, but for some reason, I tend to think about the negatives before the positives, where it's like, well, shoot, like, you know, what are my boys gonna like still want to be boys after this when I'm posting this? Like, are they gonna think this is goofy? Or if like a hiring manager sees this, like, will that be the job or the reason I'm not able to get like a higher up job, because they see a video that I talked about, like just business wise? And then I kind of quickly realized, like, well, if I'm putting out content that's helping people and I'm not being like vulgar or saying anything stupid on Instagram that would be, you know, detrimental to my personal brand, that would help me. So what am I thinking? Because when you think about venture capital, when they're looking for associates to hire, they usually hire associates who have run a business or like are pretty prominent in like whatever field they're working on. So I'm like, what am I thinking? Like this would actually open more. Like obviously this would maybe potentially close a few doors. I don't. That could be just my own thinking that, but it would open more doors.
Yeah.
It would, and I think that's just something I'm getting over. But I just got 2 new lenses. As we're going, I'm slowly building up the stuff for video footage. So I'm gonna be putting out quite a few videos a week for the personal brand, and then obviously connected back to First Pitch. But at the end of the day, First Pitch is the most important thing. This is the reason why we're doing this. But personal brand is the biggest thing for me. So maybe I started the 30-day challenge by now. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I did. But that's the big one for me, I'd say.
Yeah, love that.
So.
Oh, that's great, bro. And I'm excited for you. And we got this together, bro. Like, we're in it,
We're doing this.
I'm always going to believe in you. You always got me, and I know I always got you, too.
Yes, sir, brother.
That's why. Get a co-founder, I'm telling you. Or get somebody in your circle to help you out. But, yeah, again, appreciate you all watching. Go check out our new Instagram videos we've been uploading. We've been highlighting some cool founders and really cool ideas that they're starting. And soon we'll be posting, more videos with them and the advice they give to you all. So go support them. Go follow their business accounts or whatever it is. I think, again, we're just trying to build this community of believing in other entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Subscribe, share. And then me and Rose are going to be making a course pretty soon. So maybe let us know in the comments for what you guys would want in that. So, cool. Next week.
Let's go.